Coming up next on Making Moves.
I'm Terry Casey. Coming up, how teamwork at Rosa Parks saved a life.
Phase 1 of Jacksonville's new transit center is about to open. We'll have the first look. JTA is installing millions of dollars in new sidewalks. We'll tell you where they're going and who's paying for them. Then we're in search of great Southern food with a heart when we go around town on JTA to Murray Hill. I'm Donna Deegan. These stories and more right now on Making Moves. Hello and welcome to Making Moves. I'm Donna Deegan. We're happy to have you with us. On today's show, the story of a passenger in crisis and how the team at the Rosa Parks station came to her rescue. We'll take you to the south side where we'll show you the locations for JTA's 2 new transit hubs, and we'll go around town on JTA to Murray Hill where we visit an award-winning local restaurant. But we begin with news about the Jacksonville Regional Transportation Center being built in La Villa, just west of downtown. And returning to our studio is Andy Rogers, JTA's program administrator for JRTC project. Welcome back to Making Moves, Andy. We're so happy to have you with us this morning. So let's back up for a bit. For those folks who don't yet know about JRTC, you're currently working on 2 phases of that project. Talk about what those are.
Phase 1 is the Intercity Bus Terminal. That's being constructed at Forsyth and Stewart Streets. I'm sure everyone has seen the construction, either passing over it on I-95 or coming off the ramp onto Forsyth Street. The facility is getting close to complete. Once it is, Greyhound will move from its existing station at Julia Street into our facility. The property is owned by JTA. It's being leased to the Greyhound company. And it will also house Megabus, bringing all intercity bus service into one facility.
That sounds like a whole lot. It sounds exciting. We're going to get a sneak peek at the new Intercity Bus Terminal here in just a minute. But give us an idea about some of the features of that facility.
So the building is approximately 9,600 square feet. Inside it will have a cafeteria, customer waiting area, and offices for Greyhound personnel. On the exterior, it will feature 9 bus bays, a kiss and ride drop-off area, and some seating for customers who want to sit outside. Okay,
that sounds fantastic. So let's take a quick tour, because we have a little story here that we're going to show people a quick tour of that Intercity Bus Terminal, and you will.
So right now you're standing at the front entrance to the Jacksonville Transportation Authority's new Intercity Bus Terminal that we commonly refer to as the new Greyhound station. This building is going to replace the existing operations downtown of Greyhound. So let's come inside and take a look at this new Greyhound terminal. Over here we have the main ticketing area, and behind that the main operations area for Greyhound and luggage storage areas. Coming through to the main seating area, it's very large main seating area for the terminal. This will all be filled up with rows of seating. Over here in the back area is the main queuing area to get into take the buses to the terminals. We have 6 main berths on this side. Passenger safety and security is the utmost importance to any transportation terminal, and it's no difference here. When you first walk in, you'll notice there's about 30 cameras that you can visually see. All the doors are self-locking. As you can see, there's no hidden line of sight areas, lots of open glass areas, curtain wall to the outside. This Greyhound terminal facility is a 10,000 square foot facility, concrete systems and floors, overhead exposed open air systems with curtain wall. Another main feature you'll notice when you walk into this terminal is all the flat screen TVs that you have up in the main seating area and throughout the terminal. So just across Forsyth Street is phase 2 of the Jacksonville Regional Transportation Center project. Phase 2 consists of the JTA administration building and the bus transfer facility. It's going to be a 5-story arched, very, very nice office building along in the Intercity, and the bus transfer facility is actually going to be underneath that building, and it's going to replace the Rosa Parks facility, and it's also going to replace where JTA currently is housed downtown.
And we're back now with Andy Rogers, JTA's program administrator in charge of the new multimodal transit facility under construction across from the Prime Osborne Convention Center. And we just took a tour of phase 1 of the project, the Intercity Bus Terminal for Greyhound and Megabus. And boy, Andy, did that look absolutely amazing. What a great addition to La Villa and of course to Jacksonville. Right across from Forsyth Street will be phase 2 of that complex. So tell us about phase 2.
So all of that construction is taking place on the south side of Forsyth between I-95 and Johnson Street. Once it's complete, it will allow us to have our board meetings a lot closer to the Myrtle campus. All of the existing administration functions that currently occur at 121 West Forsyth will move over to this building. One of the unique features about it is the building's being constructed around the existing Skyway platform. That will allow the existing Skyway trains and future UTC vehicles to come into the front of the building on the second level.
Fancy.
So we're excited about that. Also on the ground level, where our riders today at Rosa Parks have to travel across multiple lanes of traffic to get to their bays, we're going to design this to have a single loading platform. So everybody will go out, the buses will circle around that platform to make it a lot safer for the riders.
Boy, that sounds fantastic. And what's great is how this JTA project's already changing the face of La Villa for the better. You know, you have that new housing a block away. It's just amazing to see that going up, and new businesses have announced their intention to move into the neighborhood. So beyond the transit aspect itself, you're really looking at having a great economic impact in the La Villa area.
Absolutely. We're excited. We want to see the La Villa community return to its former glory. We're working with the city and the Downtown Investment Authority to market nearby parcels to developers for potential addition of mixed use. We would really love to see some retail, some additional office space and housing go in that area. So we want to be a catalyst for that activity.
Absolutely. Back to the olden days when I was a kid, when there was just tons and tons of activity down in that area. It's going to be so awesome to see the real activity back in La Villa. And I guess the added benefit, obviously, for JTA is more riders on the Skyway and your buses.
Absolutely. We're a transportation agency, so we're in the business of moving people, and the more people that live in that area, the more people will have a need to go places. Whether it's taking the Skyway into downtown, getting on the First Coast Flyer and going out to the beach, or taking fixed route service anywhere else in the city. We're excited about that, and this facility is really going to bring Jacksonville a true multimodal center like other cities have.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch all the pieces of that puzzle come together. So give us an idea on where we are with construction. I know there are cranes on site, and that's always a good sign.
Absolutely. So for phase 2, the site has been cleared. The cranes that you see on site currently are involved in the piling process. They're installing piles deep into the ground to support the building foundation. Over the next few months, the building slab will go in, underground utilities, and you'll start to see steel come up out of the ground. So.
Okay, so exciting. Great news for the La Villa area. All very exciting, and I know it's still going to be a couple years before everything gets finished, but please come back and keep us updated because this is all very exciting to watch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Andy Rogers, that was tremendous. We're going to get updates as this project goes along. So with thousands of passengers traveling through downtown's Rosa Parks transit station each day, the station staff must be prepared for really just about anything. Making Moves senior correspondent Terry Casey has the story of what happened early one morning when a passenger became deathly ill on a JTA bus and how the Rosa Parks team did everything they could to save her life.
At Rosa Parks, it was just another day. JTA bus operator Gloria Washington was finishing a set routine before heading out with her passengers.
Usually I look in the mirror, the rearview mirror, and I look to make sure everybody's positioned good, and I move, standing up. And some of them get on there just early in the morning, lean over, doze off, take a nap or whatever. So this one particular lady, she was bent forward, and I thought she was asleep.
What began as a normal day was about to take a sudden, frightening turn.
I was getting ready to leave, and the passenger said, "Driver, don't leave yet." And I asked her what was wrong. I looked up at the rearview mirror at her, and she said, "This lady back here not breathing."
Gloria realized something was terribly wrong.
I immediately got off the bus, went and got the supervisor.
On that morning, it was an ordinary morning. Everything was nice. And all of a sudden, chaos erupted.
She caught up to Supervisor Tim Marcus, told him what was going on.
Hey, Tim, I have a passenger on the bus that needs some assistance. The other passenger said she wasn't breathing.
Marcus kicked it into high gear.
We follow protocol. Everybody know what to do. My first step was to notify JSO. I called dispatch and told them about the situation we was having.
Come on, man, come.
Yes, ma'am.
You okay? All right?
When I got on the bus,
All right?
she was incoherent, she wasn't speaking,
Ma'am, you okay?
and all of a sudden she just went out.
You okay?
And then she turned real blue. Then I know she was leaving the air, then I touched her, and it had no pulse. And the situation got real serious.
I think we're gonna need fire rescue. Now, we got an emergency situation on the bus.
That's when JSO Officer Terrence Hyman took the lead.
I need rescue 1067. We got one white female conscious and breathing.
In what became a fight to save the victim's life.
It was up to me to do what I had to do. It wasn't time to think about it. It was time to act. It was time to do something about it to protect that little lady from dying. So that's when I activated my AED from the trunk of my car and entered the bus, told the people to lay her down on the flat on the floor.
They're on the floor, they're on the floor.
And I opened the AED up, put the probes on her.
Stay calm. Follow these voice instructions. Make sure 911 is called now.
She never was breathing because she had already started turning purple. And the machine only activates when a person's not breathing. So once I put the probes on her, the machine turned on and said, okay, this is what you're gonna do.
Begin by exposing the patient's bare chest and torso.
On the bus floor, Hyman fought to save the woman's life, as his partner, Officer Kenya Bush, provided critical support.
I just basically assisted with getting people back away from the victim and getting people away from Officer Hyman so he can continue doing what he was doing as far as trying to revive this lady. Crowd control, and I made sure that rescue were on their way here to the terminal.
Hyman refused to give up on the victim. He activated the machine again and kept at it.
And then that's when the machine shocked her. At that time, she didn't respond. So then the machine told me again.
The JSO officer activated a series of compressions and breaths again. But would it help?
Make sure 911 is called now.
And she popped out of it. She started breathing again.
She made it. She was alive, breathing, and taken to a hospital.
What made it all work, everybody know what to do. We were trained and we did it before.
So will it happen again? Yes. And it's very likely, particularly when you consider thousands of people come through here every single day. But if it does happen again, JTA will be ready, just like they were this time.
Everything was a team effort. Collectively, everybody did the right thing.
Together, they made it work. They did their jobs. But more than that, they saved a life that day. In downtown, Terry Casey, JTA Making Moves.
Still to come, Jacksonville Southside will be home for 2 new JTA transit hubs. We'll show you where.
I'm Catalina Allers hanging out in Murray Hill today, and up next on Making Moves, you live in the South, you think you'd had all kinds of biscuits, but just wait till you see what they cook up at Maple Street Biscuit Company.
And JTA is planning to upgrade sidewalks around key Jacksonville transit stops. We'll tell you where the sidewalks will go and who's paying for them. That's up next.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to Making Moves. The JTA will be adding 2 new transit hubs to its system. One includes a new park and ride that will be in the southern hub for the First Coast Flyer Blue Line. The park and ride will be located next to the Navy Federal Credit Union in the Avenues Walk development. That's situated across from the Avenues Mall at the intersection of Phillips Highway and Southside Boulevard. When it's completed later this year, the facility will have 83 parking spaces, bike racks, and a 2,400 square foot customer service building with waiting area, restrooms, and ticketing. Along with the Blue Line, 3 other JTA routes will also connect at the facility. And if you live in St. Johns County, the Sunshine Bus Purple Line will also serve the Avenues Walk Park and Ride. Meanwhile, JTA just announced plans to build a new transit hub near Phillips Highway and University Boulevard to also support the Blue Line. JTA bought a former nightclub located at 5800 Phillips Highway. The 16,000 square foot structure will be removed so the transit hub can be constructed on the nearly 3-acre site. The project is currently in design with construction anticipated to start later this year. Armed with a $7 million grant from the Federal Transit Administration, the JTA will be launching a pedestrian access improvement project near the First Coast Flyer stations on the city's north side. Many of the stations are located in older neighborhoods where there is either no sidewalk access or the sidewalks are badly deteriorated. The authority plans to construct new sidewalks in areas up to 1.5 miles from the Green Line stations to provide better access to this vital transit option. The work will be done in 4 phases beginning this month and continuing through the spring of next year. All improvements will be made in the existing right-of-way. Any items such as mailboxes that are currently in the right-of-way will be relocated. If you have questions, you should call the JTA's Community Engagement Manager, Cheryl Riddick, at 904-632-5522. The JTA announced the launch of U2CJax.com, a website dedicated to the authority's Ultimate Urban Circulator program. The U2C will transform, modernize, and expand the JTA Skyway with the next generation autonomous vehicles. With the new AV technology, customers can expect greater connectivity, reliability, with more frequent and flexible service, as well as sustained economic growth in downtown Jacksonville. JTA CEO Nat Ford called the launch of the new U2C website, quote, the latest example of the authority's vision and innovation supported by cutting-edge companies like Station 4. The JTA first partnered with Station 4 3 years ago to overhaul the JTA's main website, create a responsive bus schedule web application, and develop a new procurement portal. If you're from the South or you just want to be, then you're probably always on the lookout for some good Southern food like fried chicken and biscuits and gravy. Well, the good news is there is plenty of it right here in Jacksonville. In her latest installment of Around Town on JTA, Making Moves correspondent Catalina Allures shows us it might not get any better than Maple Street Biscuits in Murray Hill, where they offer Southern food with a heart.
If you've spent more than a couple years living in the South, you've probably eaten your weight in biscuits, but you're not going to find typical biscuits or really anything typically Southern at Maple Street Biscuit Company. Owner Scott Moore describes the menu as comfort food with a modern twist. One of the most popular items, the Squawking Goat Biscuit Sandwich, is the perfect example of the menu.
Everybody's had biscuits and fried chicken, but they've never had it with goat cheese and pepper jelly. But when you put those together, it's a really wow taste experience, and it's almost like a sweet and sour chicken biscuit with a little bit of heat and a little bit of sweet, but not too much. And
Moore and his business partner Gus Evans opened Maple Street in 2012 after losing their jobs in their respective fields. Neither of them had any restaurant experience when they opened the first location in San Marco. They had more than beginner's luck. Their concept of food and creating a community took off. Maple Street now has 7 stores across the First Coast, including this one in Murray Hill. The selection of biscuits, salads, and entrees can really make an impression. Repeat customers like Alicia Durbin and Adam Rowland have their go-tos.
Biscuits
and gravy.
We spoke to one customer who had tried Maple Street for the first time the day before and was back for another round after eating the loaded 5 and dime sandwich.
I had the 5 the first time, and it was like a biscuit, you know, but it was like one of the biscuits I couldn't eat it with my hands, so you have to try to get you a fork and a spoon and try to go at it. So
Moore and Evans spent hours developing a menu with quality ingredients everyone could enjoy. They also set out with a mission to help people, serve others, and be a part of the community. The design of every store is intentional. The long community tables are meant for people to meet their neighbors and break biscuits together. Every Maple Street location opens in an existing building, so they settle in with the identity of the surrounding area. The revival of the historic Murray Hill neighborhood made moving into this space built in 1935 particularly interesting.
We never want to forget the past, the history of who we were. So when we did this, we purposely kept lots of the elements that were here, the brick walls, the open wood ceilings. In fact, the tabletops were here from a previous establishment, and we were told that that was the wood that came out of the ceiling when they opened up the ceiling. And I was like, okay, they're rough and they're old, but we got to use those because that's part of the history of Murray Hill.
So with how community-driven your whole mission is, how is that tied in with this new partnership with JTA?
Each store is all about the community it's in. We come in at 6, and the first thing we do is we make coffee. We don't up till 7, but we come in at 6. And we say, anybody that's here, you come on in and you use the space. So if somebody comes up and they're waiting for their bus at 6, they can come in, get a cup of coffee, it's on us. Then when the bus gets here, they can go out and, whether it's hot or cold weather, and get their bus stop.
2019!
So at Maple Street Biscuit Company, they love doing things differently, like the way you pick up your order. There's a question of the day, and your answer is when you know your order is ready. And there's questions like, what's your dream vacation? Or like today, what do you look forward to in 2018? But there's always a story behind everything they do here at Maple Street.
This idea came up of, what if we ask them a question that's specific to them? And then that question rotates every so often. We would get to know more about our guests every time they came in. They get to know more about each other as they're there, and they get to talk among themselves and learn about each other, and we create community. We had this gentleman come in the morning and order his breakfast, and I'd say he's in his 70s, and the question was, who was your first concert? And he came in, made his order, answered the question, sat down, and then after him, there was these 5 Bishop Kenny High School boys who came in, and they were made their order, sat down. Well, while they were sitting there talking, the gentleman's food came up, and they called out to answer his question, which was the Beatles, which you immediately see the young men's response like, what, the Beatles? And so these 5 high school guys get up from their table and go sit at this elderly gentleman's table and start to want to know what it's like to go to a Beatles concert. And they get to hear this gentleman's story. And so for us, it just reiterated that the question is not just a different way to get food. The question is about how do we create community and conversations in our spaces at Maple Street, and there we did.
So what is that like for you, seeing your mission getting acted out right there, seeing young boys talking to an older man and getting excited and coming together?
And then when we can see our family and our neighbors getting closer to each other and having conversations in these spaces, it brings great joy.
So then what's next for Maple Street? You're expanding into more locations. Is there any maybe new menu news that you can share with us?
We are looking at some new items to the menu. We're looking at a shared dessert item. The one I put to the table is called apple pie french fries. Comfort food with a modern twist. We'll have to see if it makes the cut.
You heard it here first. Add a possible new dessert to your Maple Street menu bucket list. And after all that beautiful biscuit footage, your list is probably pretty long. In Murray Hill, Catalina allures, JTA making moves.
JTA has won yet another National Marketing Award, the first place Ad Wheel Award from the American Public Transportation Association for its Take a Selfie campaign. The campaign was part of the authority's 2017 diversity promotion that featured prominent Americans of various ethnic backgrounds. Posters were placed in local bus shelters, and passengers were encouraged to take a selfie with the poster and post the photos on one of JTA's social media outlets. JTA will now be eligible to win APTA's grand prize for best overall entry, to be announced at its annual conference later this year. This is JTA's 4th National Marketing Award in the past 2 years, including 2 for Making Moves, this program, in 2017. And speaking of, Making Moves executive producer Bill Milnes has magically appeared in the seat next to me. He's usually behind the scenes, but he's joining us now with one of his rare on-camera appearances, right on cue after all the awards are announced, just to get you out of that director's chair. Oh, I'm sure.
It's a coincidence.
It's good to get you out of the director's chair and here in front of the camera for people to see you occasionally.
Well, thanks. It's always good to be here. You know, Donna Deegan has been anchoring Making Moves for nearly 3 years now. In that time, ratings have never been higher, and we've become the most honored transportation news program in the country. But for Donna, this show is really just a side gig. Her real passion is helping to eradicate breast cancer from the world as we know it. So every year, through her foundation, Jacksonville has hosted the Donna Marathon. Thousands come out to run, volunteer, or just watch and cheer on the runners. The proceeds go to fund breast cancer research and programs to help people fighting the disease. So while we are very proud of the work Donna has helped us achieve here on Making Moves, we are even more proud of the work she's doing to help our community. We'd like to present you this bouquet of 11 pink roses, symbolizing the 11 Donna Marathons. Here we go.
Oh my goodness. That was a total shocker for me, guys. Thank you so much.
The work you do to help fight this dreaded disease is just amazing, and we're so very proud of you. And
thank you so much.
Hope your legs recover from this latest run.
I had a little trouble getting in and out of the chair this morning, but I'm good. I'm just grateful to be able to be on my own two legs and to do this work, and I appreciate all the support that you guys have given me over the years.
These flowers are hiding me, so we must move them over.
We mustn't have that.
That's right. I'm still the producer of the show.
Thank you so much.
And you have more to read. So.
I do. Thank you so much for the support, everyone. And that wraps up this episode of Making Moves. We thank you for taking some time to join us. And remember, you can check out past episodes anytime online at jtafla.com. And you can also find stories and other exclusive content when you like our Facebook page at facebook.com/JTA Making Moves. For Bill Milnes and our entire Making Moves team, I'm Donna Deegan. We hope to see you next time for another edition of Making Moves. Take care, everyone.